Here at WagerTalk, we would never say it was silly to buy a single play $25 package or buy a single play $35 package, but we are darn close to saying just that. Until Sunday at midnight Eastern, we have discounted every handicapper's 3-day all sports, all access packages to just $49. So why buy one play for $25 when you can get 3 days of all access pass for only $24 more? With the 5% that regularly costs $35, you can get 3 full days for only $14 more. No coupon needed. Just head over to WagerTalk and go to your favorite handicapper's homepage and lock in your 3-day all access pass for only $49.
All right. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers, and you're watching the greatest daily sports betting show on the planet, WagerTalk Today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Lots of awesome comments yesterday. Really appreciated it. Teddy, today's show, Dave Cokin, like always, right at the top of the show, he's going to look at college hoops. Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and USC versus Oregon State. Matt Joseph joining us in the middle, and he's got a couple of prop bets for us, and Ralph Michaels and his charts. Dude, I got to thank you.
Okay.
Remember
That's
Murphy?
Rare.
Remember Murphy you mentioned yesterday?
Yeah, the guy who's his law? Sure.
Yeah, his law. Jessica obviously heard you, grabbed a week package of all my plays. So the only way you can play me is if you buy my all access. 3-0 last night. So yeah, man, the week I can't sell daily packages, I'm going to just dominate. Murphy. Well, what can you do? What did you learn last night, brother?
So I had a good night too last night, Prez. The clients and I went 4-0
Nice.
Last night. So I'm happy to be one step ahead of you. But let's talk about what bettors learned. And this has now finally come to a conclusion. The Draymond Green / DraftKings controversy. If you're not familiar with what happened on Sunday.
I am. Yep.
Draymond Green hurt himself. He experienced tightness in his lower calf while warming up. But he wanted to start in the Warriors game against the Cavs because it was Klay Thompson's return. The game was slated to start at 8:40. At 8:31 Eastern time, the Warriors' official public relations Twitter feed posted that Green would be on the court for tip-off, but wouldn't participate in the rest of the game due to the calf issue. The Athletic also tweeted that same info right around the same time, 8:31. Game's got 9 minutes to jam bets in. All right. Of course, Green played for 7 seconds, committed a foul, and didn't come back in the game. Finished with 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. Now, most of the books reacted very quickly to that info and took those bets off the board, took the same game parlays off the board, et cetera, reacted to the news, had someone that was on it. And those books ended up paying out everybody because they didn't have the liability, FanDuel and Caesars and BetGM and PointsBet. But DraftKings didn't react quite as quickly as the other books, and therefore were liable for millions in terms of same game parlays. You know, you could have bet total points, total rebounds, total assists, each one of them individually under, and cashed a parlay ticket. If you wheel it in with other bets, you've got all kinds of parlay liability. So, of course, what does DraftKings do? They're going to they released a statement saying that the bets were under review and bet settlements are currently on hold pending an investigation. And then what happened? Twitter got mad, real mad, and the buzz grew, and DK had to pay the bottom line. And the guesstimates were that they paid out well more than $1 million, and most of them came from bets that were placed in that last 10 minutes before the game tipped off. So It's a good result for bettors. All right. Bettors found the info. Books were slow to react. Bettors got paid. And the fact that bettors got paid, it's a good world right now for sports bettors, Prez. It really is. Draymond Green made a bunch of guys a bunch of money on Sunday if you acted quickly. What about you, buddy? What'd you learn?
Well, let's just stay on that for a sec. Yeah, no, I've it's all over TikTok as well, and I'm addicted to TikTok, the only real social media platform I really participate in. I mean, obviously I'm on Twitter, but that's for work. I just, what was DraftKings thinking with the announcement at the beginning? I mean, they knew they were going to end up paying out. They knew they were going to get a massive backlash. They could have spun the damn thing so that the $1 million they paid was a marketing expense, a customer relations expense. Well, you know what, DraftKings and FanDuel, welcome to the world of sports betting. What can I say? Slightly different to the world of fantasy sports, and you're not the first, and you won't be the last. But come on, man. Anyway,
but
one of
don't forget the controversy that they had with the fantasy sports contests. You know, and the questions on the rules and the $1 million prizes that are in lawsuits. And, you know, it's, again, the veterans in the industry have an edge over the newbies, and it showed in terms of some of this liability. That being said, the newbies are, you know, when you look at FanDuel and DraftKings and their market share, you know, the veterans have some work to do.
Yeah, well, couple of things. Joey writes, I'm not a 15-year-old girl, so I'm not on TikTok. Oh, Joey, you don't know what you're missing. That I can guarantee you. And then one of the other people wrote, and it was a great point. With the leagues partnering with these sports books, and you would think that they would have to alert DraftKings faster or something. DraftKings should have known. I mean, how was there a miscommunication going on anyway? Nobody.
It's all on
anymore.
DraftKings. The other books reacted.
Yeah,
DraftKings was slow to react. Maybe the guy was taking a piss break. Who knows what he was, you know, whoever was responsible for moving that line didn't do his job right. And DraftKings cost him $1 million plus more.
Coom, I'm not the oldest person on TikTok. I don't actually do anything on TikTok. I just sit and scroll up. Sometimes I have a moment of feeling like a pervert. I respect that. I understand. I try to move fast when I get that feeling. But man, TikTok is fun. Dave Cokin joining us, everybody. Dave, let's start right off the bat with happy birthday, my friend. You are 69. You're trying to put the guy to bed?
Look at the stardust.
Talk over. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Cokin, a legend, born 69 years ago to Mr. and Mrs. Cokin. Dave, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm entering septuagenarianism because I have now started my 70th year on the planet, preferring, of course, to take the glass half empty viewpoint as far as that goes. But I feel pretty much the same. So I'm not on TikTok. And the guy who made the comment about 15-year-old girls, I don't know if it's girls, but actually the demographics do indicate that is the heavy audience is about 15 years old.
Yeah, but you get to set TikTok up any way you want. So for me, I love the cooking hacks. Love them. Last night I peeled onions, Dave. So last night I peeled onions. You know how hard it is to peel onions? You cry.
I don't know.
I took well, everyone does.
I've never peeled an onion.
I took a piece of saran wrap and I covered my eyes all the way around so I could still see through them, and my eyes didn't cry or sting. Thank you, TikTok. I also like the golfing hacks that I see. So, man, there's a lot on TikTok that's not just for 15-year-old girls. I don't know why we're discussing this.
But I will tell you why I'm not on. It really doesn't have anything to do with the demographic. It's that you have to be on the phone.
Well, fair enough.
I don't want to be on the phone 24 hours a day. I'm on the phone enough. I mean, it goes
I get
wherever
it.
I go. Wherever I go, this goes. But it's like, Jesus, give me a break with everything on the phone and TikTok. If TikTok were on desktops, I'd probably have an account and would probably post stuff there. But
I would
you
be
can't do it,
amazed
so
if you
screw
could.
them.
I'd be amazed if you couldn't put it up on desktops. Anyway, let's move on, dude. We got 3 college basketball games to talk about. Iowa -4 versus Indiana. How do we bet this?
I like Iowa with some reservations. It's kind of a weird thing with Iowa. Their record should be better than it is, but they keep losing games that they probably could have won based on their shot expectations, if you will, going in. And this is where I use shot quality. They probably could have beaten Illinois, probably could have beaten Iowa State, even though they lost that game by a bunch. Wisconsin game. So they keep on running into these things where they're not performing. They're not getting the results they should in games. That said, I mean, they should win this game against Indiana by enough to cover the spread. I don't know that it's a great play, but it's still, I haven't put up anything yet today, except the continuation play in the Canucks in the NHL, and that's a small play. I'm still thinking about putting up Iowa today, but I'm going to go back and break down the game some more. But the thing I'm troubled by is if it's just 1 or 2 games at this point in the season where, well, they just had a little bit of an off night and can just excuse that as an aberration, no problem. They've had a bunch of these, and that tends to be troublesome. So I think Iowa's the right side, but I don't think I can put it in the best bet category. I'll probably make it a smaller play.
No, Indiana swept the season series last year, and they covered both meetings the previous season. Is that a piece of the equation here? Because the Hoosiers haven't really been good in this road dog role. They certainly weren't good last year in that role.
I don't care about season. I don't care about series history at all. I almost never look at it. It's like a last thing I'll look at type of thing. It doesn't mean anything. The cast of characters changes every year, and last year in particular was just totally bizarre. Way crazier than this year because of the way things were set up with scheduling. I mean, most of the conferences, they were playing series rather than the normal schedule. So I basically don't. I don't care. Look, you can't factor in everything. You have to kind of line up what's important to you and what's not. And series history is way down the list for me. Now, in the next game, we'll talk about something that is important to me. That's called a tease for you, Prez.
Oh, look at that. Well, I actually am going to stop the tease and ask you a question related to what you were just talking about.
Okay.
Do you, when looking at head-to-head matchups, is that something you don't do across all sports, or maybe hockey you do, NFL you like? Is that just general everywhere?
It's just not a big deal to me in any sport.
Interesting.
I'm not. I am much more a current season guy than a past season guy.
So what about, what about in hockey where they play each other 4 or 5 times in a season?
Well, I'm more interested in the current.
That would be current season, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bugger off, Teddy. Okay, Dave.
Look, again, it's all a matter. I'm not saying there are some guys who look at that and think it's an important thing, and I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just not on my list of priorities.
Right.
When I handicap the game.
And
the thing is, I want to elaborate just a bit further on this. If you use everything, you'll end up with no bets, okay? Because you're going to find conflicts on virtually every game. So you have to kind of line up what you consider to be your most important factors and ride on those.
Dave Cokin, everyone. When he talks, you guys better listen. Dave, you got a promo up. I'm guessing the promo code is probably Dave69 or something. 69 is involved.
No, there's no code. There's no code. So if there was going to be a code, it was going to be old goat 69. No, actually, I was discussing with Johnny, and I said old goat 69, but they didn't do it. So there's no code at all. You get 10 days of everything for $69. So you'll get my NFL, you'll get my NHL, you'll get my college basketball, and the golf. Although there's not much in the golf, and it's $7 a day, so or $6.90 a day. So I think it's a good deal. And yesterday was very good. Could have been great had SMU not melted in the last couple of minutes of the game. Jeez, that game pissed me off. I won everything else last night. It's 75-54 at the last media timeout. I'm laying 14.5 with SMU. They're up 21 against a team that can't shoot. And out of the timeout, they commit a foul and get a technical on top of that. So the team makes 4 free throws, and all of a sudden 21's down to 17. Garbage time. SMU or South Florida hits a 3 with like 5 seconds to go in the last shot, and they don't cover. Everything else won, but it would have been a 5-0 night. So I had a good night, but it could have been a great night. Anyway, let's talk about Wisconsin.
I think a 4-1 night is a great night. Wisconsin -3 versus Ohio State. What do we do here?
So now this does fall into the realm of stuff I look at. These teams have already played, and it wasn't a good result for Wisconsin. They were at Ohio State and ended up losing the game. So you've got same season revenge, and that is one of the factors I do like to look at in college basketball. I want to see what happened in the first game, not just the result, okay? You have to look beyond the result and determine what took place in the game. Now, in that game against Ohio State, they lost by 18 points. They got killed. And yet, when you break the game down, Wisconsin had a really bad game on 3-pointers. Ohio State just got a bunch of points at the rim in that game, which they don't figure to get every game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a horrible game offensively. So you've got same-season revenge and some indicators that suggest that Wisconsin's going to get this game. I don't think the line is that high. I'm not wild about Wisconsin, but I do have them better than Ohio State. I'm not as high on some of these Big Ten teams as some other people are. I've got Wisconsin like 18th, but I'm not all that enamored with Ohio State. Ohio State's a top 30 team, but that's about it. So I like Wisconsin in this game, and it's going to end up on my card.
Dave Cokin. Dave, let's talk your final game, USC -15.5 versus Oregon State. What do we do here, my friend?
Well, USC coming home off a loss, and that hasn't happened, of course, this year, so you would think USC is going to want this one. In Oregon State, if you look at their overall body of work, looks like a team that can beat up. Now, Oregon State suddenly has come to life their last 3 games. They've played well, but good teams, real good teams off a loss. We're going to find out something about USC in this game. This is a game where if USC plays their game, even though they don't shoot the fouls well, and that's always a little bit of a concern with a big favorite, and they're a terrible foul shooting team, I think USC matches up well with Oregon State and might kill them. So this is a game I'm still considering adding as a bet because I think USC can win the game by 20.
Teddy, got a follow-up, or we're going to continue move on, my brother? Oh,
sure. I'm just dealing with a spotty internet right now. So hopefully you guys can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, all good, bro.
All right. So if you talked about this being the type of spot where USC is supposed to, the good team coming off a bad loss, this is a kill spot. But you also talked about how we've seen Wazoo play better basketball. Not Wazoo.
Oregon State.
Oregon State. The Beavers play better basketball of late.
Yes.
Do you worry that Oregon State's power rating isn't perhaps accurate to where they are right now, and maybe they're a better team than their season-long numbers would indicate?
Yes. Although I still think look, the Oregon State NCAA tournament run last year was the poster child for the season. That was the craziest run I've been doing this a long time. That's the craziest run I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament because they were a lousy team. They were lousy. They were just lousy. And here they are playing when everybody else is done. It was a total fluke. It was as fluky as the Canadians. That we saw two of them last year. That one,
Yeah.
and the Montreal Canadiens making the Stanley Cup Finals. The real Canadians have returned this year. They suck. They're a terrible team. And we had two gigantic flukes last year. So I don't think Oregon State's any good, even though they've played a little bit better lately. And no, in my power ratings, I still got USC winning this game by a lot.
Dave Cokin, everyone. Dave, on your birthday, you wake up early, you do the show with Teddy and I. Gives me a lot of nachas. For the people who don't know that word, too bad.
I don't know what that word is.
Okay, it means inner warmth. Inner warmth.
I got to jump in real quick because Ralph Michaels just passed me some good info. There's no fans at the USC game tonight. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Breaking
Really?
news.
Oh, I didn't. That is great info. I guess I'm not playing that.
Okay, there you go. Dave, happy birthday from all the Wager Talk. Have a wonderful day and an even better year. We love you, man, and we're so glad you're part of our team. Now get the fuck out of here.
Thank you.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Ralph Michaels, Matt Joseph, and of course the Daily Presidential Address.
Why pay the regular price when you can save money on every purchase with WagerBucks at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo? WagerBucks are now eligible for use on not just daily, 3-day, and 7-day passes, but all long-term and seasonal packages up to 1 full year. There are tons of options available for every budget and size of bettor. From low as $100 gets $110, all the way up to $2,500 gets you $3,000. Save every day on every pick you buy with WagerBucks.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some NFL playoff football. How about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Sunday night affair. Right now, looking at the Wager Talk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Chiefs minus 12.5 pretty much across the board. Total sitting 46 or 46.5. These two teams played once this season. Wasn't close. 36-10 final, despite the fact that it was a COVID outbreak for Kansas City that week. And it wasn't that long ago either. That was in week 16. Pittsburgh, we've seen it throughout the regular season. We saw it certainly down the back stretch. They have one first half touchdown in the last 7 games combined. Lots of slow starts for Pittsburgh. They trailed by 23 or more at halftime, 3 of their last 4 road games, including that one at KC. And they rallied back one of those against Minnesota. They made things interesting in the second half. The other 2 weren't pretty start to finish. Steelers, number 1 strength of schedule, according to Sagarin. But that was just the fact that they didn't really play any bottom feeders. They didn't get the weaklings. The only teams they faced that didn't get the 7 wins were the Lions and the Bears. So they never had a chance to relax and beat up on a crappy team and get themselves together. They went 2-4 versus playoff teams. One of those wins came week 1. The other win came when the Titans were a shell of themselves, with all those injuries later in the season. All 4 losses for Pittsburgh came by double-digit margins. Steelers played 9 playoff caliber foes. KC played 9 too. They went 5-3 versus actual playoff teams. All 5 wins came by double-digit margins. 2 of the 3 losses came very early in the season. And we look at the Chiefs at home in the playoffs with Mahomes at quarterback. -4 against Indy. They win 31-13. -3 against New England. They get to 31 in that game. The defense gives up 37. They beat Houston 51-31. Cover -10. They cover -7 against Tennessee, 35-24. The only one of the 6 home playoff games that Mahomes didn't cover, playoff opener against Cleveland. They were -8. They only won by 5. Then they closed out beating Buffalo 38-24 at -3. Note these point totals: 31, 31, 51, 35, 38. 5 of the 6 times they've gotten in the 30s. They got in the 30s against Pittsburgh already this year. If I'm playing, I'm laying. This is not a dog that I trust to hang around on Sunday night. It's Chiefs or pass for this better, whether you want it first half, whether you want it full game. This is not a Steelers team primed for primetime success. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, I want to ask you about the big game breakdown. And I mean, it makes total sense what you're saying. And I think the majority of people agree. What really concerns me, and I need you to tell me if I'm just being an idiot here, is, 9 out of 10 times teams that go into the playoffs are going into the playoffs expecting to win the Super Bowl. They're going into the playoffs excited. They feel like they're competitive, et cetera, et cetera. Listening to the quotes coming out of the Pittsburgh locker room and whatnot, it really feels like this team is playing with house money and they know it. It seems like they're coming into this game with absolutely zero pressure on them at a level that we don't normally see on a regular basis. They're going to play loose. Does that concern you at all in the handicap?
Yes, sure. But again, we talk about, why is a play, why is Cokin bringing up games here? Why am I bringing up games here as opposed to client plays? The client plays is the best stuff. The stuff you talk about on air is the stuff that you like, but there's something that's holding you back.
So that's
KC,
what.
Absolutely.
So is that one of the things?
Pittsburgh's playing with house money in this game. Absolutely, the Steelers are. Yeah. But the issue is also that if Pittsburgh falls behind, and someone said this earlier in the week, if the Steelers fall behind, they did it against Minnesota one time.
They're going to cave.
If they're down 2 scores, I'm not convinced we're going to see the fight. While there's no pressure on Pittsburgh, I'm also not convinced that the Steelers have the confidence to go in there and win. And if I don't think a team can win, I'm not backing them in a playoff game, even at plus double digits.
No, and we're on the same page, man. I like KC too, but what's keeping me off of them is that exact thing. Matt Joseph joining us, everyone. Matt, we love having you on the show. Somebody told head office, you're the smartest man around.
Who said that? I'd like to know that. Was that a male or a female? I mean, I'd love to know this sort of thing.
Samantha Ponder.
Oh, well, she's off the market, so I can't comment on that.
Okay. Yeah, Samantha Ponder did not call in and discuss Matt Joseph, but that is actually a true story, Matt. I'm not making it up. Welcome, brother. What's going on with you? Any great runs, great streaks? What's up?
Yeah, 5-1 night last night. If Cal Baptist didn't crap the bed last night, I would have gone 6-0. But 21-10 run. Finished up another great college football season, so everything's going really well. I posted a 5% play already today, but I had to take it down because the team total moved 4 points, and I didn't feel it certainly wasn't a 5-unit play of 4 points higher. So I had to put it up. Just got to get all access with me and get these numbers when they come out.
Matt, before we get into your games, I just got to respond because I've had a bunch of people say this to me, both here yesterday and on the comment section. I told everybody yesterday I have put myself in the penalty box for the week. I will not be selling daily packages. All access customers still can get my plays, and the people, Teddy, are saying, "Well, give them out for free then." Give them out for free. You're on fire. I can't. And the reason, and I would give them out for free, like flat out. The reason I can't give them out for free is I have a ton of all access clients.
Yeah, they get really mad.
Even yesterday after the show, a few of the people realized that they could still play me by buying my $99 week or my 3 days for $49. I can't now give them out for free. They're all going to get mad. So I would, but I can't. And I'm sorry. But hey, guys, what am I? 19-9 in my last 28 plays for free on the show? That's good enough. Matt, Daniel Carlson, Evan McPherson, you've got a prop bet for us on that. Talk to us.
So we've done a lot of this on the Prop It Up show, which comes on after you guys on Fridays, and we'll have a playoff edition coming up tomorrow. I've kind of really found a nice niche in this kicker market, and I know people are rolling their eyes like, "Oh God, he's talking about kickers," but I think there's a lot of value because if you look right now in a lot of the books, look, there's a lot of value here. If you look, these two kickers right now to make over 1.5 field goals are even and plus 110. So let's say you split those and you still finish out ahead. And look, I think there's a good chance both of them hit. If you look at Evan McPherson, he's had multiple field goals in 4 straight and 6 of his last 7. This streak actually started when these two teams played in Las Vegas. He had 4 field goals in that game for Cincinnati, and he's a guy that they genuinely trust. And the Raiders are allowing 1.6 field goals per game, 1.7 the last 3 contests. You look at Daniel Carlson. He's got multiple field goals in 6 of his last 8 games. He had a bunch of them against the Chargers last game. Cincinnati is allowing about 1.4, 1.5 field goals per game. So people are probably going to ask me this. Why aren't you taking the over 3.5 for the total field goals in the game? Well, if one guy has 3 and the other guy has none, then that bet loses. Then somebody's going to say, well, why don't you just take the over for the points? Well, if you look at a lot of the points when it comes to the kickers, it's usually 6.5 or 7.5. Well, you're going to need 2 field goals anyway, unless you're the Chiefs or unless you're some team that scores 5 touchdowns a game. Then you got 5 touchdowns in the field goal that gives you 8. So there's no need to take the points prop. I'll just take the 1.5 for both field goal kickers at even and plus 110. If one hits, then you're still ahead. If both hits, that's great. And if neither hits, then you weren't going to hit the points prop anyway. I think there's going to be a lot of field goals. I think both defenses are just good enough to hold these teams out of the end zone. And both of these kickers have some range. There's a little bit of a win, but that's going to benefit you going one way 2 times in 2 quarters. So I'll take a shot on both of these kickers going over 1.5 field goals. Hope to hit them both, but if I hit just one, that's just as good.
Matt, I absolutely love that bet. And, Andy and I were talking about this last week on the show. Taking these kicker props over has been really good money consistently all year. So you should not be like, oh, it's a kicker prop. We just want the dough, dude. You got one other thing to quickly talk about, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, I took the over on the Arizona Wildcats today, over 82.5 points. They've scored 82 or more in 7 of their 8 home games. They've scored 81 in the 8th home game. Tommy Lloyd has done such a good job with this offense. Colorado wants to play a slower pace game. They're just not going to be able to in this one. They gave up 90 to Montana State. They gave up 76 to New Mexico, Duquesne, and Stanford. Last year, a better Colorado team gave up 88 points to a lesser Arizona team. And I know Dave didn't talk about how much last year in the previous meetings don't matter as much. I kind of look at it a little bit. You had a worse Arizona team do better against a better Colorado team. I get a really good Wildcats squad in this one, so I'll take over 82.5 points for their team total.
Brilliant, Matt. Really quickly, what do you have to promote?
Well, I got a 3-pack now of team totals up on sportsmemo.com, 21-10 run. Definitely want you to get the all access because plays move when I put them out. And we've had a lot of good moves in our favor that people unfortunately can't take advantage of unless they're an all access member over on sportsmemo.com.
Matt Joseph, everyone. You can find him at Sports Memo. Dude, outstanding job like always. We'll have you back next week on Wager Talk Today. Teddy Ralph Michaels coming on. It's like just hand the guy the mic and learn and listen. Ralph, how are you, buddy?
Hey guys, doing great, thanks. Just a note, Teddy. You talked about USC not having fans. UCLA will not have fans tonight either against the big matchup in Oregon. So LA voted on no fans through tomorrow. Then they'll reevaluate moving forwards for the weekend and next week.
Great info.
Yeah. It sounds like Ralph's volume is a little soft. And Teddy, man, your voice had some beautiful resonance in there. A nice timbre. Wow, man. Very, very good today, Theodore. You're not annoying me at all.
That's because I didn't get a chance to talk in either of the first 2 segments.
Yeah. You know what, Teddy? Handle this segment completely.
Ralph Michaels, let's talk some NFL wildcard weekend results. I know you've got charts. Why don't you introduce them and let our viewers know what the heck we can find when it comes to wildcard weekend, what we can learn from the past.
Well, it's important to know what normally happens in the wild card. And what normally happens is we have a lot of value on dogs and a lot of value to the under. Now, I'm not saying to bet dogs and I'm not saying to bet unders, but you should look at the data and at least know what's happened. There's no question. There's much more defensive intensity in the playoffs, and you get numbers that are more like the regular season in the wild card round, and then they get affected. If Dan can throw up the first chart, we're going to see looking back at wild card games since 2015 and since 2010, the top two lines are home favorites. The bottom two lines are away favorites. And there's two incredible numbers that stick out to me. The 6-13-1 ATS is something that you should pay attention to. But how about this? Wild card home favorites are 10-10 straight up. I can hear Kelly clicking right now. Money line parlay on underdogs. I mean, that number to me is one of the most significant. And then look at the over-unders. Since 2010, wild card games simply 15 overs, 31 unders over the last 11 years.
Wow.
So I'm going to ask, because that's a significant sample size and a meaningful result when you're talking about 2/3 of the games staying under the total over a decade in wildcard weekend. Is that strong enough, Ralph, that if there was an over that you like this week, you might tap the brakes on it and say, yeah, I'm going to keep that in the lean category? Would you not bet any overs into a sample size that's showing us 2 out of 3 games have stayed under for the last 10 years in this round?
I would never say never, Teddy, because I do, I make my own numbers, I project a score, and if a game is strong enough, I still might be on them. You just need to understand, looking at what a team scores in the regular season and then the total Vegas puts out. Remember, we are getting so much recreational better. We know there's a lot of money on favorites and overs in the wild card. That's exactly why these numbers are inflated, because Joe Public is going to get favorites and overs, and I think it even gets more magnified in the playoffs. So I would never say never, but clearly it would have to be a very special play, and it may get knocked down a unit or two if I really liked it.
Let's talk playoff teams versus playoff teams, because one of the things that I like to do as part of my handicapping for the wild card round, and really throughout the postseason, is you eliminate a lot of the games against the bottom feeders. You try to eliminate the stats. You don't worry about what happened when you beat the Jaguars or you beat the Texans or you beat the Lions. Playoff teams versus playoff teams, in theory, meaningful information. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm also going to throw in bowl teams versus bowl teams, I think are more important because of the top and bottom in college football. But let's just quickly look at a chart. We see Tampa Bay and New England only played 5 teams that made the playoffs this year. But you look at KC, they're the only team that played 9 teams that made the playoffs. This chart is sorted top to bottom in yards diff. So Arizona was the number 1 team plus 488 yards against other wildcard teams. You see they went 5-2 ATS. The only perfect team, the Green Bay Packers, went 6-0 against the spread against other playoff teams and finished plus 350 yards. And look at the 2 teams on the bottom from Pennsylvania. Minus 431 yards for mid-major Matt's Eagles and minus 579 yards for the Steelers you talked about in the big game breakdown. Those 2 teams against other playoff teams this year, 2-11 straight up and a combined 3-10 ATS.
And the Rams certainly stand out on that chart, 2-5 against playoff teams, playing an Arizona team that, as you mentioned, had the best record against opposing playoff teams of any squad this year. Let's turn some of this stuff into something actionable. I broke down the Chiefs and the Steelers, talked about Kansas City full game. Talk to me about Kansas City first half when it comes to the battle against the Steelers on Sunday.
You are paying a premium with the first half number, Teddy, as you broke down the game and you said you're laying 12.5 full game. First half line right now is minus 7.5. But I am going to use KC in the first half. I'm not worried about the hook in that position. If you downloaded the WagerTalk wildcard logs and look at the first half performances for Pittsburgh and Kansas City, it's pretty clear why I like this play. Pittsburgh, the lowest scoring team in the first quarter, averaging 2.2 points per game. In the first half, on the road, Pittsburgh has averaged 3.6 points per game and allowing 16 points per game. On KC's side, Tyreek Hill practiced. Edwards-Helaire practiced Wednesday. Both of those guys are questionable. It looks good. And KC at home, their last 6 games in the first half, 23-0 against Pittsburgh, 35-3 against Las Vegas, 10-3 against Denver, 16-3 against Dallas, 13-0 against Green Bay. They've outscored foes 97-9, and 4 of those teams are playoff teams. KC, huge performance first halves at home. Pittsburgh, dismal first halves overall. In fact, Pittsburgh, their last 7 games, they're averaging 101 yards per game in the first half. Give me KC. I will lay the 7.5.
Strong info from Ralph Michael. We've talked about wildcard records over the last 6 and last 11 years, showing a strong tendency towards unders and a lack of straight-up wins for the home favorites. Ralph showed us the chart of the playoff teams versus playoff teams and how the teams that we're going to see this week have done against quality competition this season. We've talked about Kansas City against Pittsburgh in the first half, -7.5. Some action for Sunday. Ralph, the audience is jonesing, man. Let's give them some action for tonight. What do you have in the association for Thursday?
Well, I'm gonna take a Minnesota team that is incredibly in sync on offense. And I'm going to pull out a system, Teddy, that we probably mentioned on this show last year a few times. When an NBA team has gone over each of their last 3 games by at least 30 points, so you're averaging at least 10 points over the posted total, and their opponent went over their last game. So a team in sync the last 3 games, their opponent went over the last game, 103 and 55. 65.2% to the over. We're talking 4 years, and we're talking 160 game of sample size. Minnesota's averaged 133 points their last 3 games, and combined with their opponent, they're averaging 252 points per game. Memphis, number 3 in offensive pace. Minnesota is a top 7 team as well. And the Grizzlies, I mean, you're on a 10-game win streak. They actually made a change to their lineup, and they put Zaire Williams in the starting lineup. He's really helped their offense the last 5 games. He's starting a 6th game tonight. If you are worried about a crazy high total of 230, I will go back since 2015. Totals of 230 or more have gone over the total 52.5%. So not earth-shattering, but again, at least you know there's a reason the number's that high, and more games have actually gone over a total of 230 than they have gone under.
Ralph Michaels, man, you pack a ton of good information into a short segment, and I think honestly, I was the MVP of that segment. I didn't say a word. I let you two smart guys talk it out. You know, a great leader and a smart man is someone who knows when other people are smarter. So,
That's
Ralph, thanks, brother. What do you got to promote? I don't need to hear from you, Teddy. Ralph, what do you have to promote?
65% on NHL plays lifetime at WagerTalk. Yeah, I don't talk NHL much. I don't do many games. I do have a game of the week of 4% up. And those on my college basketball, it has been a horrendous week. I apologize. We will get it turned around, but it has not been pretty. And again, sorry for all my college basketball followers, but we'll get him back and we'll turn it around.
Awesome stuff, Ralph Michaels, everyone. What a show! But it ain't over yet. Let's head to the daily presidential address. Man, I watched the Eternals, well, at least half of the Eternals last night. It's a 2-hour and 40-minute movie, but it started off with a Pink Floyd song. Oh, that gave me a lot of happiness, that's for sure. Anyway, a 19-9 run on these free picks. I got 2 NHL plays for you guys. I just want to reiterate, there's no daily packages. I am not selling daily packages until Tuesday. If you want to play my plays, you have to be an all-access customer. So don't worry to all your all-access customers out there. I'm still putting my plays up. We went 3-0 yesterday. And I think I'm going to have a giant week because Murphy's Law. I'm not selling my daily packages. It's going to cost me a bloody fortune. And as a result, Murphy will take over and I will kill it, which is a good trade as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, awesome show. Ralph Michaels, Dave Cokin, Matt Joseph on Teddy's Big Game Breakdown on the Kansas City Chiefs game. You can see it all at WagerTalk TV. Our show, Wager Talk Today. My free picks for tonight. Well, we're going into the NHL like we always do. Tampa Bay and Vancouver. Line came out at 6, the total. It's now been bet down to 5.5. Bet it back up. I like over the total in that game. Tampa Bay is rolling now. They got their superstar back. He had a hat trick last game. Vancouver's got a very fast team. I expect a lot of speed on the ice. Take over the total. And I also like over the total in the Columbus-Carolina game. Basically, I think if you just play over the totals in all Columbus games, from here on in, you're going to have a winning experience. That's it for the show. Teddy, my brother, I haven't decided what to eat, but I took a picture of my sandwich yesterday. I'm going to show it to you tomorrow. It was spectacular. Take us home, brother.
You actually think that, not just me, that anyone has any interest in a picture of your sandwich? You're preaching to the wrong choir, my friend.
Yeah,
that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today.
There
we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Cokin, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocketman. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to WagerTalk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand-select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.